What's up, folks? Yeah. So we're going to start the electrics inside the cabin today, and yeah, it's raining. So yeah. Oh God, I am so tired of the rain and the wind and the hail and the snow. It's like, when is summer going to come around? Anyway, stop whinging and just suck it up and get on with it. Well, I have been working away quite a bit there. Socket, obviously, I've got that in. Cable is just basically loosely laid in. But next thing, I've had to throw everything inside because it started throwing the heavens down. So I'm on making a panel for that'll go approximately there. Obviously it's filled and covered and everything, but it will get the charging doodads will go there. There'll be a USB charger and battery monitoring system. So, and that will mount onto there. That's the plan anyway. This weather may thwart it because I need to get that sanded, filled, sanded and covered. But it's so wet, it's so cold, I don't think I'm going to get that done today. So yeah, I'm just trying to work my way around. Obviously I had to throw everything back in again because the heavens opened up, and yeah, just a frustrating day. Well, you may notice it's sunny now, and that is because I just gave up yesterday. It was just rain, dry, rain, dry, rain, dry. And I don't really want to be doing electrics in that sort of weather. So I was just constantly pulling stuff in and out. So what I did was, I just packed up and went and did a little bit of work on the Jeep. So it is supposed to be a lot nicer today. And yeah, so let's see how it plays out. I did get a little bit done. I had to take that door off. Needs painting down the edge again anyway, so that doesn't matter. But got one electrical socket installed. Cable is run into the cupboard, but it doesn't go anywhere. It's just hanging loose in there. I think. Oh, okay, lost that forever. Anyway, had been working on this. This is a panel that is going to go there basically. I do have to get some filler on it, start sanding it down and get it all nicely smoothed out, so I'm going to do that first, and then while it's drying I'll make a start on getting some of the wiring routed. Well, I'll actually clear this out first, then I'll start routing the cabling and everything. Fridges to come back out. Excuse me. Fridges to come back out. And I'll get all the cabling in behind there. There is another socket to go on. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to put it on next to the seat over there, which I think would be the most logical place, because if there's ever, microwave or anything like that put on top of the counter, then there will be an outlet there. But otherwise I will probably put it down there was an option, under there along that back panel there. So I don't know, I've got to figure that one out. But first things first, let's get this actual panel filled, and then it can sit there drying while we're doing other things. Okay, so what I'm going to deal with first is the mains electricity. So it comes in over there from the side of the van, where the fuse box is. Now there is 2 fuse circuits on that fuse box, so I'm going to use one to run the fridge in this socket over here. I'm going to use the second one to run this socket here and the battery charger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of that installed first. I do need to actually decide where I'm going to mount the battery charger, because that will determine where excuse me, that will determine cable lengths, etc. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to mount the battery charger inside that cavity there. There's nothing else going to be in there. Obviously water and everything runs through there, but that's all nicely sealed. I think that's just a nice space to put the battery charger. It can be accessed from the side if need be, because where you can see a gap there, I do actually have a panel to go into that section, so that panel will pop off, give you access to the battery charger, like I say, if need be. Okay, we have that now nicely installed. All those bits out. So obviously the wiring is not going to sit like that. Where is that? Eventually what will happen is that eventually what will happen is obviously the back of the switches will be there, but there will be a cover that goes on there which covers everything up, and basically keeps anybody from getting fingers in or anything like that. I mean, there'll be nothing there that will get a shock from, but you know, people will be people, so if there's some way to injure yourself on something, someone will find out how to do it, just as additional precaution. Anyway, this is all going to get routed along here, and yeah, let's get on with that now. Oh, obviously this is that's the connections for the battery charger. There's other connections that go in here as well. There is a there are other connections that go in there as well. There will be one which allows you to switch from charging the auxiliary battery to charging the actual van's primary battery. So that's still got to be all wired in, but that's on the 12 volt side. As I said earlier, I'm not doing the 12 volt today. I'm concentrating on the actual mains electricity, so yeah. Well, cleared some stuff out, got the fridge pulled out. I had left the actual original cabling in there because it makes it easier when I come to wire it up. I don't have to sit and figure out what everything is. I know where it goes. So anyway, electrical outlet, and I'm probably going to put him. Well, no, actually there's a cushion there, so I might just stick him there. Yeah, it seems a good location. And I'm torn. I wasn't going to cover this. And now I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I should. I don't know, but I'm going to get this basically mounted, the wiring run in first, and then, if need be, I can come back and cover that. I mean, it'll only take 5 minutes. It's not a big deal. So, but yeah, yeah, I'm going to get this, mount him there, drill a hole for the cable, route the cable through, connect this up, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with that. Well, there we have it. Yeah, I did go ahead and trim that. Got all the connections made to the socket, got all the connections now made to the actual refrigerator. Have got the power cable loosely run through there. Well, the 240, I've still got the 12 volt one here, because what I'm going to do is, before I actually secure this in place, I know it works on the 240, I'm going to just grab a battery or something, hook it up to the 12, just make sure that it's working. It has sat in here a long time, and you know, sometimes things just kind of go a bit funky, but push the fridge back, get it secured. I may go ahead, you can see that gap over there, I may go ahead and fill that at this point now. I can do that. I don't need the access in there anymore once the fridge is actually pushed back and screwed into place. So yeah, we are moving along. Well, I've now got that covered, so drill some holes that will screw onto there. Now we'll get everything installed. Okay, there we have it. Why does that not look straight? Because it's not. I need to pop that screw and just adjust it a little bit, but yeah, basically we're there. Obviously not wired up yet, but yeah, so we'll have voltage and battery condition there, obviously, charger, and USB charger there. This also will give a, it'll tell you what the voltage is in the battery. Yeah, not bad at all. Obviously this all needs to be cleaned, you know, it's just kind of a grubby of fingers and everything, but yeah, I'll clean all that. But it's all just put in temporarily at the moment. Obviously I'll straighten it up when the time comes to put the wiring in, but overall, yeah, not too bad at all, not too shabby. I'm happy with it. Well, what is going on here? So, a couple of months back, I installed this fuse box here, and I went back and forth on it, back and forth. And one thing I don't like is that for an exterior fuse box, it's got all of these open areas. So what I've decided to do is I am going to relocate this inside the actual living compartment. So I'm on disconnecting it and I'm replacing it with, it's just a heavier cable. So now the current setup is not going to use the capacity of this cable. It won't come anywhere close, but what it will do is it'll give any future owners the ability to add additional features inside the van without having to run an additional power feed in. So yeah, I'm currently on taking this out. Now obviously I'm still working in here, but you notice the sun's come out as well, and it's gotten windy, so I apologise for the wind, but I'm still working in here. But while I've got all of this out, this is actually a good time to run the new cable in. So I'm probably going to mount the fuse box under there somewhere. It's easily accessible and it's sheltered, so a little bit more work, but I think this is a better solution. Okay, so as you can see, we've got something new there, and this is actually a isolator, so we can isolate the auxiliary battery. Now it still has a split charging unit inside the box there, but yeah, I've just decided to go with put this here. I was looking for somewhere to put it around the engine compartment here, and it was like, you know what, removing that fuse box, let's just mount them on top there, and it's just got everything together. So what will happen next is, obviously, that will connect up to there, that'll connect to the positive, that will actually run into the cabin, blah blah blah. So it's just basic, very simple stuff. But yeah, this is the cable that actually comes from the split charger. Of course, that runs over to the other battery. So let me get this hooked up, and yeah, we'll move on from there. Well, there we go, so far so good. Because I'd already wired the interior lights in through under the dashboard and everything, rather than pulling all of that out, I basically just went with an additional fuse holder. So I'd rather have run it through the main fuse box, but you know, I don't want to pull all the wiring out all the way through the van. You know, that's just yeah, that would just be ridiculous to do that. So anyway, we now feed from battery to isolator. From isolator, that will then go into the cabin. We have secondary feed that goes through to the split charging system, which then goes across to the main battery. So overall, yeah, we're pretty much there. So moving back into the cabin now, I know where I'm putting the fuse box. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to route all the cabling to that point, and then I will terminate and fit Y connectors onto all of the cables when I get to that point. I don't want to do any of that until I've got it all routed, fuse boxes in, and then I can get just nice lengths on them. So yeah, it's been a little bit of additional work, but I'm kind of happy I'm moving that fuse box to the interior. I do believe in the original ad, it did say it was waterproof, but obviously it's not, so you know, better safe than having issues down the line. Oh, and obviously all of this wiring will be tied up and tucked in, etc. when it's all complete. There's no point in doing that at the moment, because if I need to move anything, you know, you've got to cut cable ties, etc. So yeah, take two. Also, obviously, I haven't tidied any of this up yet. I may have to disconnect some of these again, and I don't want to cable manage everything and then have to undo it just to remove something or change something. So I'm just leaving this as it is for now until I've basically got the working system in place, and then I'll cable manage everything. That'll be the last thing I do. Well, it's now a couple of days later. If you saw my previous video, you know that I did the springs on the front of the van. So that was kind of shot over a period of time, and the springs came in. I wanted to get them done, so I went ahead and got them fitted. So we're coming back to this. I'd put the... what had I done again? I'm trying to remember. I'd put the battery isolator in the engine compartment. I'd removed the original cabling I had in, and I was about to run the primary power back into the cabin. So I think I'll go and continue doing that. And once I get that run in, then I'll continue in here working with the 240. But yeah, I think I'll get that run in first, and then we'll start figuring out from there. So we're moving along a little bit there. Believe it or not, I don't know where all this goes. It's pretty simple though. I mean, a 12 volt system for the lighting. We've got 240 volts for the outlets in the fridge and the outlet over there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a great deal in here. There will be auxiliary capacity on the fuse box, so if sometime in the future anything else needs to be added, well, it's quite simple to do. But overall, it's going together as expected. I mean, it's not a quick job, but you know, I haven't run into any sort of major obstacles or anything like that. So you know, yeah. Anyway. It's lunchtime, so I'm going to go grab some lunch, and then we'll get back to this afterwards. So I've got the fuse box, started wiring things in. That will mount about there. I might actually put a couple of standoffs and move it up there, but basically somewhere around there. The charger will go around here. I've got some, that's actually the one I was going to use. I've changed my mind, and I've ordered another one, so it should be here next few days, but that's basically going to go there. And it'll also give a battery indication and all of that. That there is, obviously that is still off the LED lights that go up above there. And yeah, I mean overall she's coming together quite nicely. I do have a cable to run through for the well, to connect up to this, connect up to the other interior lighting, but yeah, I mean, she's not coming along too badly. But it looks worse than it is. Once I get all of this actually wired up and tested, then I'll start cable managing and, you know, getting everything tucked in nicely and get it all nice and neat and tidy and what have you. Well, that's right, it's raining. Gah. Can I ever make a video anymore without it actually raining at some point? I don't know. Anyway, everything underneath is done at least, so I'm just figuring stuff out in here. Yeah, I am, excuse me, I'm running the cabling in at the moment for the refrigerator, and I'm going to get that hooked up. Then I'm going to hook up the 240 for the fridge, and then I can actually push that back into place and screw it in there, and then that's that complete, that's that done. Okay, so got the light in under here, just got a temporary patch run through to the battery there just to test it, and there we go. Just need to tuck that up a little bit, but overall, yeah, looks fine. That, yeah, exactly what I wanted. I'm not sure what to do at the moment. The rain's getting heavier, it's getting just wet around here, and you know, I need to clean this floor. I don't want this floor getting soaking wet. I might just wrap it up for today. You know, it's yeah, come back, see what it's like tomorrow. If it's like this tomorrow, I'm probably going to go and do some work on the Jeep. I think that's a good possibility. So yeah, let's just disconnect this battery, and yeah, I'll just call it for today. Oh, and one other thing I did today, I put the handle on here. So yeah. Yeah, I got a few things done. Anyway, let's get locked up. Well, it's morning, and the forecast says it's going to be dry all day. So let's see if they're telling the truth. So there's the fridge in place. Still got to put the screws in, but I do have trim pieces to make for either side. So I'm not sure will I do them yet or not. Now I think I'll continue with the wiring. I'll mess with the trim later. We'll get the wiring for the fridge finished, and I'll get the rest of this all hooked up. Obviously there's way too much cable here, but you know, I'd rather have too much than too little and have to add stuff on. So yeah, overall not bad at all. Well, things are moving along there. Fridge is now actually completely wired in. Do have to secure these cables and everything. Same down there, all of these down there have to be tidied up and secured. But yeah, so we've got the 240 and the 12 volt there. Obviously this is going to go along here. That's something like that. That runs into there. That's the wiring for the pump. Obviously I did the lights up there yesterday. Do have another cable over here somewhere. I've got to find. Oh, there he is. He still has to go along to the fuse box for the overhead lights. And yeah, so we are, yeah, things are making progress. So not a lot to say really, is there? Here the yellow will go directly to the fuse box. That will give power straight to the pump, and then the white with the black trace, that's the ground. That'll go to the faucet and then to the tap, and then that will go to ground. So when you turn the tap on, it actually makes continuity, and then the pump will run. That's the theory. we know how theories go. That's pretty straightforward. It'll work. But yeah. Anyway, let's get on with it. Well, things are moving along there. Obviously, I still haven't done any cable management, but basically everything on this side of the van is now hooked up. All the 12 volts are done, all the 240 volts are done. That's the last one there that I've got to screw to the bulkhead. And then I will move to the to this side and finish these off. The charging unit is not going to be here now. It's Saturday today. It's not going to be here now until at least Wednesday. So I can put most of it in. I just won't be getting it finished today. But yeah, it's gone okay. You know, it's a pretty straightforward system. I mean, there's not a lot to it. Again, there's redundancy there. So if a future owner wants to put internal heater in here, or add any additional accessories, there is a little bit of redundancy there, so that's going to work out quite nicely. But yeah, it's again, the fuse box is not screwed in or anything. It'll all be eventually screwed up to the back of this cabinet here, and then again everything will be cable managed. But got all the connections in now for the sink as well, and the exterior water pump. They are here. Still have to put a terminal on there yet, but they will connect up to the tap. Obviously this has to be in. There's a panel to go in this side here. There's the outlet there for the drain. Obviously the water pipe down there. So yeah, all in all, it's not bad at all. It's coming along nicely. I'll continue to move along there. So most of the harness made up for the back there. Obviously right now, as I've already said several times I think at this point, I do not have the charging unit, so not everything is in here yet, but we're getting close. The next thing I want to do is actually going to screw the fuse box into place, because obviously some of these are just way too long and I need to just get an idea of the sort of length that I want to cut them to. So yeah. Okay, so we are getting closer there. That's going to be the final location for the fuse box, and all this wiring will be routed and hooked up. So I'm not doing anything more on this side just yet. I really need that battery charger. I really need that charging unit here, so this is the connections for it. There's nothing I can do right now until I have that, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. This here will eventually make its way back to the van's own primary battery, and that will allow you to switch between charging the van and charging the auxiliary battery. Of course, that's the on-off switch for the charger. Well, we now have everything just about in place. Still some cable management to do, but got it all routed in. Everything connected up bar the battery charger, and yeah, so I think what I'm going to do now is connect the battery up, and then we're going to just test each circuit one by one and see. Take two. Well, obviously I've had a bit of a tidy up in here. Dust. Yeah, obviously I've had a tidy up in here, but yeah, we've got everything just about in place now. Still need some more cable management under there, but it's okay for now. So what I'm going to do is we'll go around and connect the battery. Now basically going to just test each circuit one by one and take it from there. So yeah, let's go and connect the battery. I'll then go and grab some fuses and we'll give it a shot. Okay, so obviously you can see that we do have a light on to say there's a fuse blown, but that is actually because the DC outlet, the charger, is trying to draw power, but there is obviously no fuse in. So number one, DC charger, I'm going to go with a 5 amp. Okay, so got that there, and oh yeah, there we go. DC charger is up and running, and that also controls the battery indicator. So as you can see, the battery is almost full. Okay, first one, good. So the next one is accessory, which is the charging circuit. So obviously I'm not putting a fuse in there because we don't have a charger connected, so I'm going to go with the interior lights, which is the I think it's yeah, it's the ones under the cabinets. So I'm going to go with another 5 amp fuse in there. Obviously this is not properly screwed down yet, so let's see. Yep, I need straightened up there, but yeah, it's working, so cool. Now the next one is cabin lights. Again, these are all LED, so I don't see any reason to go with anything bigger than a 5 amp fuse, so let's just pop him in. And we do not have cabin lights. Okay. Ah, that's why, because I've got the labels on the wrong way, haven't I? So, yeah, see when I switch the cabin light on, I get that coming on. So let me just put these labels right. Okay, so I now have those switched around, and we will take that 5 amp fuse, put them into there. Now let's try the interior lights. There we go. This one here is not working yet because that one needs a fuse in next to the battery. So next one is the fridge, and I think I'm going to go with a 15 amp fuse in the fridge. Let's just make sure it's okay. So just pop him into there, and don't know if you can hear that, but the fridge is running. Fantastic. So the only one we've got left to do now is the water pump. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm just going to drop the sink roughly into place, just connect it up, and then we'll just turn the faucet on and give it a test run. Okay, I've got the sink dropped in there. Ignore that, it was just a bit of paint I spilled on it. I'll clean that off. But we've got a problem, not associated with the electrics, but problem all the same. So when I originally measured up to put these cupboards in, my initial plan had been to put them all the way up to the ceiling, and I changed my mind along the way somewhere. Unfortunately, what I've forgotten to take into account is that this lid has to open, and yeah, see my dilemma? Yeah, so I've got to figure that out. But anyway, this is not about that. I've got the fuse in, got the cables temporarily hooked up, so can you hear that? That's the water pump running. So that is now everything in there connected bar the charger. That's the only thing left to work on. So overall I'm happy with this, you know. It's been a couple of days of work, and well, technically 3 days, but one of those days I only had half a day because it was raining, and ended up going to work on the Jeep. So about 2 days work to get this all put in. Now obviously it's not finished. Cable management in particular in here has to be done, and just a few other bits and pieces here and there, but you know, everything's in and it's all working, and that is the main criteria. So let me squeeze out of here. So for the time being I'm just going to disable all the circuits. So this little doodah, this is actually a circuit breaker, so if it takes a load, it will also pop the circuit. So, but I can just go like that and manually disable it. And then that's everything in here switched off. So the cabin's isolated. Well, I think, let's have a think what I'm going to do next. I think I might do the trim around the fridge and everything, get that finally tied in. Get all these countertop tidied down. As I said the other day, I've decided I am going to go ahead and I'm going to refinish this countertop, so I think I might do that today as well. But as far as the electrics go, I think we're probably, you know, like I say, 99% there, so I think I'll call this video right here. I will do an update when I get the charger installed, so no fear about that. But yeah, it's been an interesting couple of days. It's everything's pretty much gone to plan except for the lid on the sink, and yeah, it's been quite a good few days. So there we have it. Anyway, that's it for now. Take care. Come back and see me sometime, and have a good one.